Hi, this is Ralph Harbison. Today we're going to conclude our series on goals and goal setting. To wrap it all up and to summarize, we started off learning what a goal is, why goals are important. The goal is the desired outcome that an organization, a person, or a system looks to have, wants to have, has a plan to achieve, and works on the plan to achieve it. We also discussed why you need goals. Goals lift you out of where you are. It gives you something to wake up for, to work towards every day. We spoke about what a good goal is. A good goal has smart objectives. They are specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, they are relevant to what you're doing, and they are time-bound. While it's not a requirement that you have these things, most of your best goals are going to have those. We spoke about how you create your goal, how you set it. You come up with your goal. You list your sub-goals that you have to achieve. We spoke about how when you list those sub-goals, you fill in how you get to those sub-goals, and then suddenly it becomes a plan or a system. If you can monitor it, check it, go back and redo it, fix things, you can create a process. The process or the system is great because you get results that you can repeat. It also gives you a way that you can teach others how to achieve the goal, and that way your entire system and organization can work together. We spoke on some helpful hints to achieve the goals. Be sure you download the PDF on that. Today we're going to actually enact a goal to kind of look at how we do it. I have PDFs attached to this written portion of the blog that are goal setting PDFs. These are things that I have done with clients that I do in my own life to help me achieve my goals. The first sheet on the PDF is the actual goal worksheet. You write your goal at the top. Remember, it needs to be specific, it needs to be achievable, and then underneath it you've got a date where you write the date that your goal is good for. Now, at the very top of the page, you're going to see your name. You put your name at the top because this is your goal. You have to own it. You put the date that you set the goal up there too. Then underneath, as you go down, you're going to find a line for the goal statement. This is the positive action statement about your goal. If your goal is to make $250,000 next year, your action statement will be, I enjoy or I love making $250,000 a year doing, and then whatever it is that you do. Remember, this statement is not the actual how to do it. This statement is the reinforcement in your mind that this is your goal, that you love doing the things that you have to do to achieve this goal, and that it is a part of your life. This is what creates the singular definiteness of purpose. That one overriding ambition that you have that will not be turned away, stopped. You will not be deterred from achieving your goal. As you go down, you have a place where you list your various sub-goals. You have a place where you list the things and people that can help you and the things and people that might get in your way. And this is very important. Remember, some people are going to help you make your goal. Some people are not. Some people are going to interfere with your ability to make your goal. Negativity is a big one. But then there are also people who just get in the way. They don't know any better. They can't do any better, but kind of be stumps in the way. That's why up at the top we put a place for, is this a public goal or a private goal? Now, a private goal does not mean secret. A private goal means it's one that you don't share with everyone. A public goal is one that you do. A good public goal, if you own a business, is that you are going to do X to help the community this year. That's something that you can tell people. You know, our goal this year is to help put $15,000 in donations back into the community. That's our goal. To achieve that goal, we're going to donate 5% of every transaction. See, that's a good public goal because it builds public support for what you're doing. It shows that you're in touch with the community as a whole and that you do not see yourself as separate from or taking from the community. A private goal could be a weight loss goal, or it could be an internal type of business goal that you just don't tell everyone. For example, let's say you want to shift your profit margin up 2%. That's not something the general public needs to know. It's of no consequence to them. But the public and private goals are also important when you think about who is here to help me and who is in my way. If you have a lot of people who are going to at least get in the way, maybe not hurt you from making your goal, but they're not going to do anything to help and they're just going to be dead weight, this goal might need to be private from them. They don't really need to know it because they're not going to help. If you've got to go around them anyway, who cares? So that's an important function of that. Then at the bottom of this sheet, you have signature. You sign it, you own it. It is a contract with yourself to make this goal happen. Another sheet that's in here is the sub-goal sheet. Fill out as many of these as you need to cover all your sub-goals. You put your sub-goal, your date that you need to achieve it, and what you need to do. Notice that on this sheet up at the top there's a place where you rewrite your goal again. It has to be reinforced in your head. This is my goal. So then you go down, those sub-goals and how you achieve them become your plan later on. Then we have an accountability sheet. The accountability sheet is something that you can go over. Did I do what I needed to do today to achieve my goals, yes or no? The accountability sheet is wonderful. You get these up, you do one every day. If you, at the end of the week, you have more wins than losses, the week was a win. If all your weeks end up winning, you should be achieving your goals. If you're not, you're either lying to yourself or you need to change your system some because you are not getting your desired outcome. We also have in here a goal checklist. Did I create a good goal? Now notice that this one is kind of interactive. Did I do this, yes or no? If no, why not? I want you to think about why you are not doing these things. Do I have a plan, yes or no? Is my plan something that can be monitored, yes or no? These are important questions that you ask yourself as you go through your goals. If you are not creating good goals, you're not going to achieve your goals as often as you should. One sheet that's in there is the plan sheet. It's just a big blank sheet where you write your goal at the top. It's because each plan is unique and different. I cannot create a plan for your goals, even if I know what your goals are, without sitting down with you and discussing the different outcomes, possibilities, and probabilities, as well as things going on in your life. When I sit down with a client, it takes a long time to really work through and create perfect goals for them. And even then, they're only perfect in the sense that they contain what the client says they need and want and can do and will do to achieve them. So let's go back to our example. You want to make $250,000 this year, next 12 months. We've got your goal statement. I love making $250,000 a year doing my job. We're going to write that 25 times, at least twice a day, 3 times a day is perfect. That is a reinforcement in your head. You are training your brain to succeed. So then we go through there, we've got that. Do we have a goal that is specific? Going to make $250,000 at work? Yes. Is it measurable? Well, yeah, you can look and see how much money you made and know if you made $250,000. Is it achievable? That's a good question. Are you in an industry or job where you can make $250,000 a year? If you are currently in a minimum wage job, the answer to that is no. If you are currently only working part-time, the answer to that is probably no. It depends on what you're doing. So we need to know that part of it. But let's assume that yes, this goal is achievable. You are in an industry where you can make that money. Is it relevant? Yes, if you are in an industry where you can make that much money and that is what you're going to dedicate yourself to do, sure. Is it time bound? Yes, I have 12 months from today to make this money. Good. So now we have the basics of our goal. Now we need our sub-goals. What do we need to do to make that money? Do we need to work on our branding? Do we need to improve our advertising? Do we need to look at new avenues for revenue? Do we need to change how we function, how we do business? Is our business based on repeat and referral customers, or is our business based on new and original customers? What is our internet presence like? All of these things are questions that you ask yourself in creating your sub-goal. Now, for some people, they don't know the answers to these questions. That's a problem. One of the main reasons a lot of people fail at business is because they don't know what they need to know to get started. A large corporation, a McDonald's, a Ford, those companies spend a lot of money studying every possible everything. They do focus groups, they do surveys, they roll out demo products in 1 or 2 locations. Any number of things to get an assessment on exactly what the market is doing at any point in time. You don't have that luxury, so you're kind of flying blind, but you don't have to be. There are, and people talk about this, Donald Rumsfeld was the first one who said it, talks about known knowns and known unknowns and unknown knowns and unknown unknowns. And basically, you can boil it down like this. There are things that we do know and should know. There are things that we don't know but should know. There are things that we do know that we don't know them and we can't account for that. And then there are things that we'll have no way of knowing. A good example of the things we have no way of knowing is weather. We cannot predict that. There were a lot of businesses in New Orleans prior to Katrina that were doing a wonderful job that no longer exist because they had no way of knowing that could and would happen. And a known unknown would be we know what the traffic flow is like in an area. We do not know how that is really going to affect us. Traffic flow, for example, is a great mythological construct. There are businesses that look like they are in a great flow location and they're not because the ability of clients to get in and out of the parking lot is not there. There are some places that you would think, God, that's got to be a great location. Look at all the cars that go by. And it's not. There are places where a lot of cars go by, but they are not looking for that product. So that's something that we kind of know, but we don't know. Something that we don't know that we should know is there a demand for this product at all? What is my profit margin on this product? How many units do I have to sell in order to stay in business? Those are things that a lot of people don't think about the right way. Or they confuse the sale price with the profit margin, and then they run into what the cost is and they suddenly realize they're not making as much. A known known is, what am I doing? What is my product? What am I promoting? What am I giving out there? Those are known knowns. A known known should be, what do I have to pay in taxes, startup costs, rent, utilities? Those are things that you should know. And so you have to factor all that in when you set your goal. You have to factor all that in into your sub-goals. All this information you've got to figure out. Some of it is very, very, very easy. Some of it's not. But it takes a little bit of research, sometimes a little bit of help to figure it all out. But you set it up. Now, we pull our sub-goals out and we set them up and we look at them. What do I have to do to get the sub-goals? Once I've got that and the dates for that, I have my plan. Now I can write it all out, start here, get to here, and there's my plan to do it. I set it up in a way that I can monitor it, I can go back and change, and I can track everything, and I'm going to create a system or a process. I use both terms because at different points in time I'll use either one interchangeably. They are the same thing. So I've got my system here, and I can always go back and change things that I see are not working. I can also always go through and show somebody else how to do it once I know that it works. So once I've got this system, once I've got this plan in a 3-ring binder for how to make this work, because it does work, I don't have to be a slave to guessing anymore. Now I've got something that I can create results the same every time. So I go through, I've got my plan and I'm working it to make my $250,000 in the next 12 months. Something goes wrong. Okay, I go back to my plan. Where do I need to drop down to get it back right again? Let's go back to that weather example. A few years ago we had snowpocalypse. People got stuck on the interstate. It was ridiculous. I got stuck on the interstate. I ended up at my parents' house. My family ended up at my house. We were, basically 15 miles apart, but had to deal with it. Everything shut down for a week. There was no way around that. The whole city shut down for a week. What do you do with your plan? Well, you've got a week that you missed. You've got to go back and make that up. Is it best to factor that in and try to do double work? Do you just write that off as non-existent? What do you do? Again, it depends on your individual business and your system, your structure. For some businesses, the best thing to do is just pretend the week never happened and just start again from where you were. For others, you do kind of have to go back and play catch up. But if you do, you do. That's the value in having a plan. That is a value in having a system. You now know what to do if you ever have to pause for whatever reason. Are you going on vacation? How much of your stuff can be automated or can someone else do to cover you? You see, these are the things that come into play when you're doing goals and plans and those kinds of things. So we write out all the plan, we're ready to go with that, we check everything. Does it really meet the SMART objectives? Do I have a good plan? Will this work? And then we get started, we make it happen. As the plan goes through, we evaluate what we did and didn't do to make it happen each week. We can go back and say, okay, I did or did not follow these directions and these guidelines. What do I need to do from there? And we evaluate, we change, we keep it going, but we stay in focus of our final goal, that $250,000 in the next 12 months. The closer we get to it, the better we are. Now, what happens at the end if you don't get 250? Where are you? Are you better than where you started or where you were going to be before? If the answer is yes, evaluate what little tweaks you need to make. You may not have to change anything. Your $250,000 goal might be a great 5-year goal, not a 1-year goal. Try it again. Keep building on what you're doing. What if it's not possible? What if after doing everything you say, you know, this just isn't going to work for me. I can't get to 250. You need to pause. You need to stop and you need to think about what you are saying. Is the problem that you cannot get to 250? Is the problem that you do not want to do what it takes to get to 250? Or is the problem that 250 looked like a realistic goal at one point, but it really wasn't? That's a tough question to answer. Some people are going to go with either it's not a realistic goal or I just can't get to it. The former, it's not a realistic goal, is one thing. No, the latter is one thing. It's not a realistic goal. The former, I can't do it, is different. That's failure. That is admitting that everything that we have worked to overcome is back. It means that you have decided that no matter what, you cannot do it. That's a major problem. And that's a problem that you're going to have to get help to deal with. Someone like me, a business coach, a consultant, someone who can look at what you've done and figure it out. Or you're going to have to do it yourself the hard way. You're going to have to reteach yourself that you are not a failure, that you are capable of amazing things. But what if it's the second one? I'm not willing to do the things that I have to do to get to 250. I've seen them, I know what has to be done, and dadgummit, I am not going to do it. You're lazy. Or, giving you the benefit of the doubt, maybe the things that you have to trade to get to 250 aren't worth the 250. You hear stories all the time of someone who's making millions of dollars a year and gives it all up to be with their family. The millions of dollars were not worth what they were missing from their family. In that case, you may be way more successful than your income shows. I'm not going to judge you on that. In fact, if that's the case, I'm going to praise you. You have succeeded where other people have failed. You have realized what is truly of value in your life and you've embraced it. Now, if you're lazy, and we got to have a talk because just lazy just don't work. But what if you're not? What if you're in the wrong business? What if you're not getting the value from the money and it's not worth what you're trading for it? Maybe we need to find you a new way to work, something new to do. That's fine. Either way, no matter which one of those is the case, the fact that you had a goal and tried to achieve it shows where you stand in your industry, in your world, and in your mind. And that's a beautiful opportunity for growth. And you will grow way more from having these goals than you ever did without them. All right, so that more or less concludes our goals, goal setting, stories, worksheets, and all. And the next thing that we're going to do, the next blog post, is going to be just a little bit about organization, about getting things together. We've got a big announcement coming up soon. It's going to be really exciting. I hope y'all check it out. And other than that, if you have any questions or need anything, be sure you visit my website, ralphharbison.com. Be sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can see these videos as I upload them. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at ralph@ralphharbison.com. In the meantime, you have a nice day and we'll see you soon.